Welcome to a Game of Thrones. The year is 82-89, which isn't relevant in the least. But what it is the Greyjoy Rebellion. King Robert Baratheon recently crowned, and his vassals, Paramount Tywin and Mace the Ace, and some others, are at war with the Iron King, Balon the Ninth of the Iron Islands. So this is roughly 10 years, 14 years, I think, before the start of the TV series, which I imagine is more of a touch point for some people. Now, for us, we are playing as Magister Jolly Roger of Lonely Light. Now, I've got a lot of things to explain. This is a huge mod pack I'm playing on right now, not just Game of Thrones mod. A lot of it I've made, specifically the map. I've cut out a lot of the map, as you can see. Places that are basically out of Diplo range that we're never going to visit and will just slow the game down. So, the Game of Thrones mod has quite a lot of extensive background systems going in, one of which is the slavery system, and it makes the game go to a crawl. Especially because all the nomads, so the Dothraki, the Jogos Nahai, Yeti as well, all have access to the slavery system. So I've cut all that out, sliced the map in half. I think that will help the game run a lot better. We shouldn't get any crashes or anything like that. I've also added some custom trade routes and custom buildings, but we'll get to that as we go along. The main thing I wanted to talk about was something I've set up for this playthrough in specific. It's never made sense to me that the Ironborn are so obsessed with getting gold and riches, but they also hate gold. So there's obviously that big scene in the book and the TV show where Theon goes back to the Iron Islands for the first time in years, and Balon, his dad, is like, "Oh, you've gone all soft because you paid the gold price, you big loser." Which doesn't make sense. Again, doesn't make sense to me, seeing as they spend all their time going out getting gold and reaving, and obviously it's a big part of their culture to pay the iron price. But I figured, what if there was Ironborns that both paid the gold and the iron price? So that's what I've done. I thought it'd be interesting to play Merchant Republic. That's my excuse. I wanted to play as Merchant Republic that wasn't any of the free cities over here in Essos, because they're a bit detached from all the main cast. You know, everyone's favourites, like Sean Bean and Mark Addy, who was famous for playing Fred Flintstone. So that's why I wanted to play in Westeros, but I also wanted to be completely out of the way. Now, I have balanced this, because obviously being able to raid as a Merchant Republic is pretty OP. And that's why I wanted to make a custom religion and culture. So first we were playing as the Gilded Kraken, which there's some flavor text if you're interested in some shit I've written about it. Basically, they're zealots. They like gold and iron, because they figured, why would the Iron God send us out to... Sorry, the Drown God. Why would they send us out to raid if we're not interested in gold? Makes sense, right? So they are interested in gold and iron. And I've also made us so... Let me turn off char info. I've also made it so we are Gilded Reaver culture, which gives us a malus to martial, but a small bonus to stewardship. And to keep it balanced, I've made all other Ironborn cultures hate us. So minus 50 with potentially our liege, our vassals, depending on how it goes. Hopefully that'll keep it balanced. I'm not sure. So another thing you may have noticed is I'm playing with the Bloodlines mod and the Advanced Congenital Traits mod, both of which are linked in the description. So the Congenital Traits mod, I think we have something similar in Geheimnisnacht. Basically splits it up, so instead of being like imbecile, dull, normal, quick, genius in that sort of order, it has lots of traits between that. So for this character in particular, I've taken Perceptive, which is slightly worse than quick, but not as bad as not having anything. And obviously these are uninheritable, and I believe the way it works is your children also have a chance of inheriting one above and one below, similar to education traits. So we've also got Agile as well, which is the top sort of, how do you want to say it? Agility, congenital trait, sure. So there's like, quick, fast, agile is the top level of that. So I've taken those. We're also a brilliant commander and a formidable fighter, because these guys do love gold, but they also do love fighting, going on reaving. They are still Ironborn at the end of the day. So we've got that as well. Now I've gone for the most important traits. As you can see, I've also taken a sea lion, as I thought that in court, specifically, you sit down, you're discussing diplomacy and stewardship. Who wouldn't want a sea lion sat next to them, helping them through that? And, of course, the Bloodline mod. So the Bloodline mod is great. It really adds a lot to the gameplay, specifically Game of Thrones. It definitely sticks to the theme quite well, seeing as they're obsessed with bloodlines. Obviously, in Game of Thrones, characters are like, admonished for being bastards, and they're really proud of their houses and shit like that. So we are playing House Hoare. House Hoare in the... I don't know if they've been talked about in the TV show, but in the books, they were the original Iron Kings. They owned all of the Trident and all of the Iron Islands, some of the Westlands as well. They had a huge empire, and they built Harrenhal, which is that huge fortress, but that was destroyed, and the whole house was destroyed during Aegon the First's conquest, so Aegon the Conqueror, when he set up the Iron Throne. So we're playing as the last survivor of House Hoare, a descendant of Othgar Hoare, which says he's our father, but he died 400 years ago, so don't question that, or 200 years ago, I think. We're going to try and restore House Hoare. We're going to try and take the Iron Islands from Balon and make it so that we can have blood and iron, sorry. Blood and gold? Gold and iron. I'm thinking of fire and blood. So yeah, gold and iron. And also I kind of want to go around collecting things. So obviously we've got a pretty decent artifact system in game now. So if we go to, say, Robert Baratheon, look at his treasury. He has a huge amount of artifacts that the game have added. He's got his flagship there. Lots of different crowns. All the crowns collected by Aegon the Conqueror. Dragon skulls that give him prestige, some books, and his warhammer. Similarly, if we go to, like, Ned Stark and look at his Valyrian greatsword. Oh, it still counts as a trait. Interesting. I know they're in the process of turning them into the treasury system, so you can see certain weapons like Robert's warhammer and certain other Valyrian swords appear in here. But he's actually got it on his traits. But that's fine, because we can still take that. There are still systems for collecting things like that. Let me see if I can find a character with a Valyrian steel sword actually in their inventory. Who has them? Gotta think of a character with a Valyrian steel sword now. Let's see if we can just type it in. Valyrian. So Kago has a Dothraki. Yeah, here we go. Okay, Valyrian steel Arak, which is like the Dothraki sword. You can see there he's got it in his treasury. And it also appears as a little icon on his picture as well. So you can easily tell if people have Valyrian steel weaponry just from a glance. Pretty cool system. Alright. I think that's everything I needed to talk about. If anything else comes up in the video, if you have any questions about what the hell's happening, I'll try and answer them in the comments. So, we've got to worry about cultural conversion and religious conversion because we are playing as this minority culture to keep things balanced. And as a republic, we've really got to try and grab up some of these trade posts because the whole of Essos, if you haven't played this mod before, all of these are Merchant Republic. So the Free City of Bravos up here, Merchant Republic, Pentos, Merchant Republic, Mir, Merchant Republic. You see where this is going? Every single one of them, especially Volantis, they're sort of the, not only are they slavers, but they are pretty, what's the word, aggressive about their trade. So I've got to sort of decide where we're going to peak them, or pip them to the post for trade posts. I think, obviously, we're going to start off going in Lonely Light. Now, what was our trade practices? And we'll go from there. Yeah, I will put a trade post in our capital. I think that's a good idea. And let's see, what's our limits? We've got 5 to start off with. Okay, great. Let's try and put one. Capital of the Iron Islands. I think that's fair. What about Castle Rock? How much do we need for that? 211 gold to get a trade post in Tywin's land. That'd be helpful. So we'll try and do that. Now, we haven't joined the war. We can offer to join his side, but I'm not going to do that because if we're building trade posts, they're obviously going to get destroyed pretty quickly. As part of the war goal. So we won't worry about that too much. You might call us in. I'm not sure whether I'll decline at that point because it'll cost a lot of prestige. I think first things first, let's get married. Let's find a wife. Daenerys Targaryen. Something tells me that'll be a bad idea. I think we're just inviting a world of hate. She's also 5. And if we die before we marry her, then we're going to obviously lose the game. I don't know. She's got good traits. Astute is pretty good. So that's not as good as what we've got Perceptive, but it's obviously better than nothing. And she's also appealing. +1 diplomacy, +20 attraction. And she has the Targaryen bloodline. So the bloodline mod I didn't finish explaining passes down to your kids. So you always keep the bloodline of your major house. So we're House Hoare, who has their own bloodline. So anybody in our house will have that trait. However, if your mother, or your father, depending on whether you're matrilineal or not, if your other parent also has a bloodline, you'll inherit that, but only you. So if you have any kids after that, you'll lose that trait and just go back to your main house trait. Kind of difficult to explain, but you'll see it as we play along. There is a method of making it so you can retain all the bloodlines, but the issue is in 100 years or so, almost every character in the game has all the bloodlines because they're valuable traits to have. So I've turned that off because that's pretty shitty, because you do get an opinion bonus of other people with this trait. So everyone just loves each other if you set it to unlimited. I'm going to take the business focus because I feel like that's thematic. And we're going to set ourselves to get married. That's the first thing we're going to do. Now, us being a collector and an Ironborn, we could also go around collecting wives. So the big names from the show, try and capture like Cersei, Marjorie, Sansa, all of those people. We could... I don't know if you can marry men. I don't think you could take men as assault wives, but it would be pretty funny to me to have Tywin, you know, walking around in his lingerie in our palace. If we could do that, I'd be game for that. But yeah, I think collecting all the Valyrian swords would definitely be something we want to do. That'd be a very cool playthrough. Alright, let's actually get on with it now. That's enough explaining. And I think, why not, let's mark... Oh, he wants us to be his High Admiral. You hate us, though. What is High Admiral? Is that just an honorary title? Oh shit, the council. Okay, we don't have the option. I'm going to accept it. Now it says we're Vice Captain. Maybe it's the Marshal. Okay, well, we could just go and check our Liege's council, I suppose. That would make sense, eh? Yeah, we are on his council. We are a Vice Captain. We do not want to be a loyalist at all. So I'm just looking through this. I actually can't see another Marshal look at... Maybe... Oh, yeah, no, look. This guy is there to train troops. So he's obviously the Marshal. We're just an honorary title, I would assume, in that case. Okay, that's fair. Let's start filling out our own council before we do anything else. So, obviously, because we're a unique culture and religion specific to this island, I think the only people that share it are going to be the other patricians. Yeah. So, we might have to stack our council with other patricians. Honestly, that's not terrible. That's not too bad. It means they will like us more, and it will sort of help us keep our head above water for a while until we can find someone better. Let's get this guy, Euron. He's got pretty good stewardship. So, the steward in this is our chief advisor, sort of the equivalent of Hand of the King in Game of Thrones speak. There's not really an equivalent in the base game, because what you would think would be the steward is actually the treasurer. So, someone who oversees construction and everything is this guy. Collects tax, services, construction. There's just like a bonus guy, so he can pacify provinces, oversee the realm, improve holding, which is a game mechanic whereby in the base game, as you level up technology, obviously, get to upgrade your main holding. So you would go like small village to, say, city. In this, there's no technology, so you can't do that. So the way you do it is you spend a shit ton of gold, if I can find it here, going for, here we are, improve village. So you press this button, spend 300 gold, that will build it instantly. Then after that, you send your steward to the province to help improve it, and as you can see, there's 10% chance yearly. I guess that's just the way they got around the balancing of having no technology. Otherwise, people with a lot of gold would be, like, very, very overpowered. Whereas this adds a small chance element. I mean, this guy's got 16 stewardship, which is huge. And he's still only got 10% chance yearly of succeeding. And while it's being built, whilst this one here is still active in your province, you do get a malus to tax and levy size. We actually have nothing at all built. Well, that's pretty shitty. All right, and obviously we've got a main house as well here because we are playing just your default Merchant Republic. Let's finish setting up the council. I'm getting distracted. Let's do that. So, Rinolf, you sound pretty good. Let's have you on board. Captain of the fleets, we have really no one with good martial at all. The only one of our religion and culture has a skill of 0. So I think we're going to employ... Now this goes on cooldown for about, what is it, 2 months? Doesn't actually show us until we do it. Okay. A sellsword, sure. He's not bad. Yeah, okay, he's actually pretty bad. Ruthless, incompetent commander. He's got a 10 martial, so in terms of council abilities, he's not terrible, but in terms of actual character, he's pretty crappy. Alright, and how long is it until we can now employ a new courtier? Let's have a look. We've got to wait... We've got to wait till the 7th month? Okay, so it's a 6th month cooldown. Okay, that's nuts. Spy Master. Oh, Jesus. Okay, he's terrible. Let's not hire him. Maester doesn't really matter too much. So Maester is someone you are sent via an in-game event who will help train your children. It's a really cool idea. So he specifically kicks around to help your children develop and give them stats beyond just assigning them a guardian. Now, Priest is something I really should have thought about because we have no viable candidates at all, and there's no one of our culture and our religion that can do it. So, let's let some time tick. Why don't we go reaving while we wait? Because that's a huge part of Ironborn culture. Alright. Who shall suffer the wrath of the Ironborn? Where shall we pillage and plunder to pay the iron price? Let's go for Northern Essos. Why not? I don't think it matters too much. I think if you raid the same province a lot, it affects how much gold you can actually make from them. For the first one, I don't think it matters at all. So let's absolutely do that. Now, we might want to raise our own levy and send them raiding whilst we still have the option to. I think that's probably not a bad idea. So the Holy Warrior, Jolly Roger, that's hard to say. Peace be with you. Sure. Sure, we'll vote for him. It's fine. He dislikes our liege anyway, so he's probably got us in, you know, we've got similar goals. Okay, the men are ready. The longship's prepared. Now we begin our journey across the narrow sea to pay the iron price. Let's do it. Off we go, boys. Squad up. Okay, that's running really well. I'm quite happy with that. And I voted against levy-shifted burgher obligations. Oh, shit, that's actually... Oh, no, wait. Do we want to give him more of our troops or more of our taxes? Probably more of our troops, to be honest, because with our own taxes, we can raise retinues. That's it. Oh, that's another thing I've made. Should have probably mentioned that. We've got some really great retinues. Brace yourself for this. So, the Game of Thrones mod doesn't actually have retinues. It uses a system where you can hire Unsullied to act as your retinues. But because I've cut out Slaver's Bay, didn't really make much sense. So, every culture and... there are some basic retinues as well, but every culture has their own specific retinue types. This is added by another mod that I've just expanded on. Again, links to everything in the description. So I've made my own retinues for the Gilded Kraken. We've got looters, which are just light infantry. We've got pillagers, heavy infantry. Swashbucklers, obviously. We've got light infantry, heavy infantry, just a sort of ragtag band of randomers with more morale, because they're, you know, swashbuckling pirates. Scallywags. There are archers and our light infantry. And freebooters. Oh, yeah, of course, we have one more. Freebooters, just heavy infantry and archers. Not too bad. Pretty good retinue. And then our final one, golden swords. So heavy infantry, morale, and attack plus 25%. This is sort of our key retinue. I've based these on Huskarls. They're also based a lot on what were already added via the other mods. So hopefully they should be pretty decently balanced. Iron longships cut through the water, swift and sure. Hence, we have successfully pursued a small merchant fleet. If we were to attack and pay our iron price for the cargo, we could gain much and more. Let's do it. Now, obviously, with these events, there is a chance we could die. This is probably pretty dangerous, just to start off with, but it's going to give us prestige. Price well paid. During the attack, Uran of Lonely Harbour was wounded by an enemy fighter who's chosen to go back home. You know what? Fair enough. I don't blame you. I'd probably do the same at this point. Attack. A price well paid. So this is going to bring in a pretty decent amount of gold. During the attack by our reavers... Oh, God. I was somehow wounded by an enemy, but the Ironborn laugh in the face of flesh wounds, surely. 5% chance of getting the trait Craven. We lose 40 prestige and 40 piety. It's risky, because obviously we haven't got any kids at all, and I don't really want to get a game over this early on, but sure, I will reave some more. Let's do it. Okay, we are going to lose this war to Robert Baratheon. Bit of a pain, because it means we're not going to be able to reave after that, or raise our troops and go raiding. New Lord Commander on the wall. Who is this? Thorin Smallwood. Good for you. I could not care less. When Harrenhal burned, the Ironborn chose Victarion Greyjoy to rule over them. We carry the blood of the Grey King himself, that's Harren. We won't sit idly by and watch our birthright slip away, not while we have the strength to take it back. We do not so. Gain the trait on the Iron Islands. Gain the trait on the Lordship of Orkmont. So the Greyjoys are essentially our rivals at this point, because they took what was in our family for literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. If you go all the way back to Harrog, the first king of the Iron Islands, what was that? That was 5,000 years ago. I feel like it gives us a pretty good reason to try and take the Iron Islands back. Alright, so we can actually, I think at this point we can hire a new courtier, right? Yeah. Okay, so we actually want a, it says drowned man, but what we're hiring is a priest for the Gilded Kraken. I suppose he is still a drowned man, isn't he? Alright, and we're going to hopefully be able to convert our main province here to our religion. Only 10 learning is a bit crappy, but, you know, what's a chance? I should check that. 2.3% chance yearly, so absolutely not a chance. Okay. Excellent. Master Ulron of Lonely Harbour's position on Iron King Balon's council is under question. So this is our steward, is also on Balon's council. Do we want to vote a vote of no confidence? This guy kind of likes us, so I'm going to say no. And, oh, I didn't set our crown focus. And hopefully we can play tall this game. If we get enough prosperity, which we should quite quickly because we're obviously a Merchant Republic, we're going to put our crown focus here, go for rulership focus after this. Hopefully we can get some more holding slots added and really boom up and play tall. That's going to help us take back the Iron Islands, because I don't really want to go to war with this guy. He does probably have 10 times our troops just by himself, so got to play this carefully. Lord Regent, Magister Quellan of Lonely Harbour made a new appointment to our council. So regents in this also have quite a lot of power. And we are going to be going on a regency quite frequently as we go raiding. So who did he appoint to the council? Lord Gerald? Who's Lord Gerald? This guy. Okay. Well, he hates us, so he's going to get sacked. And he's crap. He's really crap. Why did he do that? No, you are sacked. Let's put you back. Removing Lord Gerald from the council has angered those in the court to support your membership. I don't care. They're only doing that because we are not... Oh, Jesus. General opinion -10. This is really bad. Because he is... most people in our court, I should say, are obviously traditional Ironborn. Let the reaving begin. A successful raid. Aha, I was just about to talk about this. Okay. I have proven myself a true Iron Islander. I've captured a salt wife. What should be done with her? So we've captured an Ibonese... Gods of Ibn woman. She's not bad. She's honourable. Craven, rude, cynical, intricate web weaver. Do we really want to take this woman as a salt wife, which is basically a concubine? Obviously, the downside would be with her having high intrigue. She could just assassinate us. So I'm going to say she's not worthy. Kill her. Plus, we kind of want someone with congenital traits we can pass on. All fear the Ironborn. Get a lot of prestige from this. It's pretty good. We're true Ironborn. We've come to an end. And we are home. Let's sort this council out. Getting the trait rash. Well, that's a good start. Now, our Maester, I believe, also acts as a court physician. So we don't have too much to worry about here. So when we got this... I had to give him an already existing High Lordship. I forgot to actually make one for the Lonely Light itself. It means we've taken these guys as our vassals. They hate us. So I'm quite happy to give them back to Pike. Just because it means we're less likely to get assassinated. Plus, it'll make him like us more. Plus, I want to play tall anyway. This is something I should have done before we started, to be honest. So we do have an option there. Decide upon Civil War sides. We could say support Robert Baratheon. Now, what that would do for us is it would put us in good standing with the throne. And it means if Robert Baratheon does choose to revoke the Iron Islands, if he likes us, there's a chance he could give it to us. I'm actually going to support Robert Baratheon. Now, I think, given how many men are in his provinces here, Balon's going to lose the war anyway, so this was probably the best choice. Alright, what else can we do? We could seek a treatment for illness. Let's do that. Okay, so it is our Maester. 15 learning, that's pretty good. Joshua states that your extensive medical care leads him to a certain conclusion that your symptom is not a serious illness. Thank you very much. Alright, then let's not worry about it. Open council position. Let's see. Can we hire anything new? Yes. What do we need? A Spy Master is probably a good idea. That should have, in hindsight, been the first one I've got, given the amount of enemies we've got. Holy shit, he's so good. Master Schemer and an Elusive Shadow. Hilmar, you are the best boy. And let's have him uncover plots. I feel like that's probably the best idea. As for Steward, let's put this guy on the council for now. He's shit, but we haven't got anything better to do. And as for our council, what do they think of us right now? Quellan, not a huge fan of us. I don't know why. We're not that bad. Alright. So we can start building up a Merchant Republic. A lot of these buildings I've added myself. And this one here... Oh, there we go. Balon lost the war, which is good for us, because we obviously back the winning side. Are we independent? Oh, no, wait. Okay. It's all coming back to me now. It's been a while since I played the Game of Thrones mod. There's a mechanic in this called Mega Wars, which basically means when a war is declared, a rebellion, vassals split off, then they have a choice to support the throne, their liege before the war, or they can support the rebellious vassal, or they can even stay independent, so their liege will dislike them, but after the war's over, they'll go back to how things were. So because we are one of those mega wars declared, we're independent, but because we support the throne, we're going to go back, obviously, under him, I believe, depending on how things fall after the war. Sure, I'll pay 20 gold for that. Master Quellon died. Oh, he was assassinated, okay. And now we have a new house. Sure. This is quite overwhelming to start with, there's a lot to do. And now that the wars have subsided, you'll see that it all comes back together under one throne. At a meeting of the council, Master Eldest of Lonely Harbor's position on the council was put under question. Does he like us? He does. Okay, so, but the problem is, all of my other council members have voted him being sacked. Now, this was the guy we just put on the council to fill a position, so yeah, sure. I don't mind sacking him. Sure, we can hire someone new soon anyway. How long have we got to wait? December, that's not too bad. The Paramount Balon II has transferred the vassalage. Oh? Okay, so whoever our leader is giving us our lands back that we gave him. Is it just Balon Greyjoy again? Yeah. So he's actually imprisoned by King Robert. He's got the Driftwood Crown and 2 huge boats. That's a huge boat. Quality 2 Marshal +1. So you can build different types of flagships actually from the decisions menu here. Where is it? Construct a flagship. There it is. And we can also go on a foreign tour. I'd like to do that. But we have to wait till we turn 18 first. And that lets you go around Essos or wherever and go on an adventure, more or less. There's a lot to do with single character adventuring in this. So the only reason the Reach hasn't rejoined the Crown is because he is still in the middle of a rebellion. So when that's over, he'll go back under the Iron Throne. And the reason they do that, again, is to keep it balanced. It means that if, you know, if your vassals want to rebel against you, they could just call in their liege. This makes it so lieges deal with their own problems. So the most excellent Magister. Sure, I'll join your council. Thanks, Balon. And let's set up... I feel like we're going to be setting up the council for a while. Designate Regent, sure, you'll do. Bodyguards, you're fine. State Inquisitor. Let's go for anybody of our religion and culture. There we go. And High Judge once again. You'll do. Commanders, I'll take anybody. I don't really care about commanders. Anybody good, at least. Now, can we raid? Or is it still outlawed? Let's take a look. Nope, it is outlawed. Shit. So that's another thing on the to-do list. Once we take back the Iron Islands, obviously independence is going to be a huge part of this playthrough because it means we're going to have all of our cultural and religious buffs unlocked again. That's a real shame. Okay, well that's fine. We can still go reaving. And of course, I've got the mod turned on, as I've got with every series, to be able to steal artifacts from people. So if we go to King Robert, steal artifact, we can pick an artifact to take from him. A fire sword? How the hell did you get that? Has to be fire-obsessed, lunatic, red priest, favored by law or chosen by law. The Durandon crown. He doesn't have that equipped. He has a different crown equipped, I guess? A crown of majesty. Okay, fair enough. We could try and steal a crown from him. We don't actually have a crown of our own. I don't think we count as a feudal royal monarch, though, do we? Maybe better off this early on to steal, like, a Valyrian sword from someone. I know who has one. Lord Randall. Randall Tarley has Heartsbane. Ah, the only problem is it counts as a trait and not an artifact, so we can't actually do that. It's a pain. Okay, what about you? What have you got? Crown of Dawn, Lives of the High Septums. I suppose some books probably wouldn't hurt, seeing as we can't compose our own in this mod. Interesting. Okay. Right. Well, I feel like that was a good introduction. That's got everything done. I won't count this as episode 1. This was just an introduction to the mod and the mechanics and everything. Thank you for watching. Now, if you have any suggestions before I get into the series properly and we start carving our own little kingdom out here, let me know, and I'll try and get things answered or sorted out before next episode. I'm so warm. How big was that then?